What's up, friends, YouTube motorcycle enthusiasts? Got an update on my stereo. Check it out. Alright guys, I have recently updated my Boss stereo that I did the install. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll throw a link around here somewhere. So what I want to get the word out about is I have had issues with the previous stereo, which is a Boss BE10 ACP. And I have replaced it with the BECPA 10W. I will put links to both of these stereos in the description. I have been using the original stereo since I installed it, coming up on a year now, maybe all summer. And I love it. It's absolutely awesome. It responds well, does all the things that I showed from the original video with the van. What the problem really was I could not keep Android Auto from disconnecting. So I've done everything, tried multiple cables. As you guys can tell, I installed the pack pass-through USB, which allowed it easily to plug into the phone. Took that out of the mix, multiple cables, tons of research. Reddit was super informative. Really came down to lots of people have issues with Android Auto with cable selection, adapter cables going from C to A, USB standards, so there's really nothing I could do make it right. What would happen is the Android Auto would disconnect and it would literally just go back to the home screen and show that there was no connection. I would unplug the cable from my phone or from the connection, whether the pass-through was there or not. I tried both. Reconnect it, and then boom, Android Auto would start again, and then it would just pick back up where it was. So that was a constant problem. There was truly no rhyme or reason of how often it would disconnect. One of the things I did notice though is whenever I was navigating, using Android Auto, navigating through metropolitan areas where there were multiple turns coming up, or I believe increased data flow from the phone to the head unit, that's when the disconnection, the connection would drop. The disconnect would happen. So after a good bit of research, I found that kind of can be an issue. The USB protocol is between C and A. For you guys that don't know, C is the new bidirectional flip smaller connection. A is your standard USB connection that you see there, which is what's on the back side of the stereo. So the USB protocol has to negotiate those speeds based on the cable type. Now I tried everything from the Anchor 10,000 megabit per second, really high dollar ones, cheaper cables, nothing seemed to work. So I reached out to Crutchfield, which is where I got my original stereo from, and I said, hey, there's something wrong with my stereo. Can you guys send me another one? I talked to the tech support. After going through everything with them, they were more than happy to send me another head unit. Well, I replaced that head unit, and this one, the other one continued to do it again. It was the same wired connection of the Android Auto that would just keep disconnecting. Everything else about the stereo I like. Now I will say the second unit of the same type, it seemed to reboot. I would get a soft reboot frequently, and I want to make sure it wasn't my wiring, but it was never losing power. So nonetheless, I went through that for about a month or two. My wife used the van, and it was just the Android Auto became unusable. It was non-stop. It would go from disconnecting once every couple hours to every 2 minutes, and it was just crazy. So after a little more research, and my Honda Civic Si uses wireless Android Auto, and what I found that obviously there is no negotiation of cable speeds with wireless. So I reached out to Crutchfield and asked them, hey, can I exchange my BE10 ACP for this BECPA 10W, W being the wireless? And they agreed. The difference in cost was $117. I paid the difference. They took the old radio back, the second old radio, and yeah, there was no issue. One thing about these Boss stereos that I do like, there's a 5-year warranty on it. And one thing I like about ordering through Crutchfield, you get the customer service. That they really didn't give me any problem with exchanging the stereo, and they already saw that I had exchanged it once before, and just the constant issues. So the only downside is, well, down or up or down, depending on, I got really good at swapping the stereo in my Chevy Express van. And if you guys don't know, it's pretty involved, as I articulated in the previous video. Steering wheel goes down, the whole bezel comes off. It's relatively involved. It takes a little bit of time, but I've gotten pretty good at it. And nonetheless, this is the new stereo in place. I haven't tested it extensively yet, but I have already, I'm really liking the wireless. In fact, I'm making this video on my phone and running Android Auto right now. So it continues to do exactly what it's supposed to do and have a wireless connection. I've turned the van off and back on, power cycled everything, the connection's snappy, and the phone connects to it immediately with no issues. There is a backup wire connection with this stereo. They do give you another USB, which I have tucked up under here. For whatever reason, if the wireless was to quit, I could go back to the cable. Temporarily, of course, because the cable is what was giving me problems. But nonetheless, I wanted to get the word out. I will say there was no review that I ever saw of that original stereo ever said that there was problems with connectivity with Android Auto, which really blows my mind, because I had problems with 2 units consistently with multiple phones, multiple cables. And I say Android Auto, we even tried an iPhone. Apple CarPlay did the same thing. So it wasn't the app, it wasn't anything other than the negotiation of the the cable negotiation. So nonetheless, wanted to put the video out there. Hope you guys got something out of it, and just, hey, I'm always wanting to get the word out on some of the stuff. So get out there, get on 2 wheels, get a Motovan, and ride a dirt bike. This is Accelerate once again, signing off.